what a difference she has made.
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount+.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount+.
Belgium won, Egypt won is the full-time result from Seattle to kick off Group G in this FIFA World Cup. It was a brilliant strike in the first half from Egypt's Imam Ashour, and then the second half, just as soon as Romelu Lukaku came on, he doesn't get the goal, but he's involved in that crossing action that eventually results in the own goal off of Mohamed Hani, the defender for Egypt. We welcome you back inside our Golazo Network studios alongside Najariel Coker and Troy Deeney. I'm Chris Whittingham. And guys, we talked about at halftime, you mentioned, where's Lukaku? Where's Lukaku? He comes on and makes an instant impact in terms of being in the positions that Belgium were sort of crying out for. How do you think the game changed when he came on, Troy?
Night and day. They just looked like they had an attacking threat. They had somebody that was willing to crash the box. Again, what is he on pitch? 5 seconds, 6 seconds? Ball goes out the right-hand side. And then what it does, what people don't understand is when you've got a striker who's willing to crash the box, it makes everybody else's job so much easier. The wide players go, OK, just put it in there. And that's all that happened. It wasn't a, well-crafted goal, 15 different passes, like a Spain would have to do, Nigel. It was more little clip down the side, the right back's in there, and he just puts it into a great area, knows Lukaku's going to be in there. Just the physical presence of Rom was able to get that goal in, and it felt like they were going to win from that moment on. What I would say is, as well, for all of that moment of it being great, and what was he on, 30 minutes, it felt like, is he going to get injured? He looked heavy. He looked like he hasn't played in a year. So Belgium need to be really careful getting him in and just the minutes he can have. But clearly, when Romelu Lukaku is fit and available, he's their best player.
Yeah, they definitely need to be careful in how they manage him. But the reality of it is they need him. Instinctively, like Choice, 5, 6 seconds. And it's an instinct thing. When you have a traditional number 9, and when you see the goal again, the ball goes out wide. All he does is a straight run. It's not a well-crafted run. It's not a bendy run to stay on side. It's literally the ball's out wide, straight run. And it's because of the presence of him being in the box. And because he's such a big specimen of a human being, the 2 Egyptian defenders are trying to fight against him because they don't want him to get a touch. And that's what leads to the goal. But it's an instinctive element of it, being a striker, knowing to straight away go. CDK's a good player, but he's not like a Lukaku. He's not a traditional number 9. He won't know instinctively to make that run, to go and cause that chaos by making a straight run. And that's what it is, and they need him. They're a different team with him. They're winning headers. You could see that the panic he causes, regardless of who they're playing against. He will cause panic against any back line because you can't leave him one-on-one with most defenders in world football. So that's the problem that he can cause, and he's always a big positive for Belgium. But again, like Troy said, he doesn't look sharp, doesn't look match fit, like fully there. And you don't want to force a player that's not fully back to fitness levels that he needs to be, because you can lose him for a longer period of time. But
look how everyone else around him got better. As soon as he came onto the pitch, started seeing Kevin De Bruyne more, started seeing more chances. Doku was getting into the game. Because when you have a focal point that occupies at least the 2 centre-backs, it makes them have to drop, and now the rest of the pitch opens up. The full-back says, oh, wait there, do I go 1v1 with Doku? Probably not. So then there's indecision, and people are starting to think, OK, where am I supposed to be? Should we sit in? Do we go aggressively for the Egypt point of view? But when you look at it for Belgium, I just think whatever they've got to do between now and the next game to get 45 out of him, they have to do that. Like, I know now it's all data scientists with the iPads and they're saying this, but it's like, hey, how do you feel? OK, we don't want to get you outside too much on the grass because that's where injuries can come, but do we blast him in the swimming pool? Do we get him on the bike? things that he can lose the weight, because again, I was a heavy player like Lukaku as well. When you've been out for so long, it normally takes you 5-6 games to get fit. For him, 5-6 games could mean they're going home. Or they're at the later stages of the World Cup and they need him to be at his best. So you've got to do as much work as you can that's non-injury, non-load bearing, but get him shifting that weight as quickly as possible.
But on the rest of the team, obviously when he comes into the game, he provides that moment. But I still think the expectation would have been from this game for Belgium that they would win the game, that they would win this group. What did you guys feel was lacking in the Belgian performance beyond that sort of centre forward presence?
I think for me, still, even the application, the application, the urgency wasn't quite there. It was, again, it's another nation that we've seen. We could use the same word of just laboured, moving the ball too slow, not moving quick enough, don't look sharp. And again, I don't want to feel like I'm being overcritical on the players, because it's not fair, because a lot of these players have had long domestic seasons, and there's different things that you have to take into consideration.
It's a World Cup. It's a World Cup.
It is a World Cup, but they've had a long season coming into it, and some players have had injuries. You look at Kevin De Bruyne. He hasn't had a consistent, really good season for entirety at Napoli. He's had to do with a lot. And then you talk about it as a start, and he criticised his manager of what he's been through, and he's come to World Cup, and he doesn't look like the Kevin De Bruyne that we've seen before. Yeah, so there is a lot of... I'll probably say, for me, the word I'll use is there's a lack of chemistry between the team that I've seen from all of them. Troy brought a great point up. Onana and Tielemans played together with Aston Villa. They won the Europa League. They should know each other inside out. Yeah. And they look like they just started to play together for the first time for the national team. So the way that they connect, they should have been able to connect as a midfield pair, especially playing midfield myself, where you should still dominate. Forget all the other pieces around you, because you have good quality around you, but they didn't look like they were connecting as a pair. So I think there was, for me, I look at that team and see there's chemistry issues today.
Yeah, I think as well, just glaringly obvious is the attacking line. It's so unbalanced and quite individual at times. When I look at 15 shots, only 3 on target. I know Kevin De Bruyne hits the post, that doesn't get classed as a shot on target, but you know, other than a bit of magic from Kevin De Bruyne from a free kick, it's an own goal that they scored from. No. We're not sitting here going, how did Doku miss that chance? How did Trossard miss it? We're sitting here going, how do they create these chances? Are they in the right places? So a lot of work for me for the manager to figure out the chemistry of that front three, and then also, as Nigel says, that chemistry as a team. It feels like a lot of talented individuals. And the weird thing about it is we showed the teams from before, the great teams, the 2018 teams. I don't understand when you've had that great talent, probably fallen short where people think you should have won a World Cup, and now you have lesser talent, how you can't then tap into it and go, the reason we didn't win with this team is because it was so individual, so many great players. We need to be a team. And it seems to be doing the same model with lesser players and then expecting a different result. To me, that's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, they've never really been able to figure out that sort of overall team element for it to all come together as a group of players rather than just a bunch of individuals. You mentioned the performances in midfield of Amadou Onana and Youri Tielemans. Here are the performances that they put in the center of the park. And you can see it is Tielemans who has the majority of the possession. He does start the move that eventually leads to the goal. He plays in Mounier on that right side. But what did you feel, just in terms of, if you're saying they're not controlling the midfield, despite the fact they played together week in, week out at club level, what did they not do in your mind?
Dictate the play. And when you play in centre midfield, when I talk about dictating the plays, it's controlling the game from the middle of the pitch in the sense of, we could say, all right, Belgium had a large amount of possession in the sense of they were making Egypt run around. It was just too open, too many turnovers. And when you look at it, it's just, for me, those stats don't really read too well. And Tielemans did have the better game, you would have to say. But sometimes these stats can be skewed, because when you look in midfield as well, Troy will know this as well, sometimes we see some of these midfielders have great stats. Oh, he's got 95% pass completion, or 99%. But are your passes affecting the game? Are you trying to play forward or just playing it safe backwards and sideways? That's why I say, in moments like this, trust your eyes. Watch the game to see how they influence the game. And I felt, for me, that there was too many turnovers, too many second balls that they lost in that midfield area. Not enough at times saying, all right, let's move it from side to side, and then bang, let's play that pass forward. And once it goes forward, we squeeze up, and then once they try and clear it, we win it again, and we recycle the play. That's dictating the play from a midfield perspective.
It's suffocating pressure, right? The midfield you can keep the ball, like, let's say me and Nigel are both playing as 2 6s, we can keep it here. doesn't do anything. But to Nigel's point, Tielemans had 14 turnovers. He is normally the guy who's trying to play through the lines, but he normally doesn't give it away. But he is normally the one who's trying to play those passes through the lines where you go, OK, maybe he's going to give the ball away 4, 5, 6 times a game because he's trying to penetrate the other line. For me, Onana, when he's at his best with Aston Villa and at Everton before that, big 6-foot-plus centre midfielder, runs over the game. He jumps off the pitch, off the page. You're like, whoa, who is that? This big guy dominating, carrying the ball forward. Today, if he watches his game back and he gets the clips tonight, nothing happened. He didn't do anything. He didn't win tackles. He didn't crash over. He didn't run over anybody. Granted, you can have a poor day with the ball at your feet. That happens to every footballer. But you need to impact the game, and unfortunately for Onana, he didn't do that.
And Belgium do drop points against Egypt in their opening game of the group. Give a lot of credit, though, to Egypt. A fantastic result for them in the opening day of this group play here for the Egyptians. Coming up next, we'll continue to break this one down with the former Belgium international, Toby Alderweireld. That's next.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
This is Golazo Matchday reacting to Belgium's 1-1 draw with Egypt. And joining us now to do so is the former Tottenham and, of course, Belgium defender, Toby Alderweireld. Toby, what were your impressions from the opening performance from Belgium of this World Cup?
Yeah, a little bit disappointed, of course. I think we were very confident to start this game, but I think Egypt was there. The intensity was a much higher level than Belgium. They couldn't find the spaces, couldn't find their rhythm. And I think at the end was a good reaction in the second half. But I think if Egypt was a little bit more clinical, we could have lost the game as well. So I think a lot of questions to be asked for the Belgian manager.
Toby, someone that's worn the national shirt yourself, you know the responsibility that comes with representing Belgium. What worries you most from the squad and the performance that you've seen today, looking ahead?
I think for me was the performance of Onana. I didn't like it. I think he's the best in his position when he does the tackles, when he puts his body on the line, and then he just needs to get the ball and deliver it to De Bruyne and stuff. But I think now, because it's a World Cup, he feels the pressure. I need to be doing more than usual. And then you see the team is struggling. When Raskin was coming in, he did it more. It played forward, easier, and you see the team was a lot better after Onana went off.
Yeah, I agree with that, Toby, as well. The other thing for me is when Big Rom came on, obviously we know he's been dealing with injuries, but having a striker who is right through the middle of the pitch, you saw 6 seconds in, he just crashes the 6-yard box. How important is it for you guys to get him fit, but also be careful as well, not to use him too much? He hasn't played in the last year, has he?
Yeah, it's crucial. Like you said, first to get him fit, because now he got 25 minutes, something like this. That's good, but maybe in the next game we need more of him, and then it's going to be a little bit a big risk because he's not match fit, you know. And then other players need to step up. Everyone expects a lot of Doku, but he was disappointed as well. Second half was better when he's playing a little bit more in the central role. But I think we need Romelu, but the next game it can't start. Maybe next game 45 minutes. We have to keep, like I said, not too much risk. Otherwise, it's going to be if you lose him, I think it's finished.
Yeah, Toby, again, you're saying more or less everything that I was saying just before you came in. So it's great that we're on the same wavelength in that regard. Looking ahead to the front line, you played, again, to that 2018 team. We did a little segment on that earlier, but all the talent that you had, and obviously, for some reason, it just didn't click. When I look at this team, it looks a bit disjointed. It looked like Trossard and Doku both want to play on the left, so one has to play on the right. It looks like there's no real natural striker unless Lukaku's there. How do the team figure it out? And obviously, with your experience, in a World Cup now, with the games coming so quick and so fast, how difficult is it to implement new styles in that short amount of time?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. But like you said, Trossard had a wonderful season, but his quality is on the left. Doku, his quality is on the left. He played some games on the right, but then he said, I don't want to play on the right. I want to play on the left. So that's not nice. And of course, like you said, you need a good striker. So maybe we have some other players that can play on the right. Luka Bacchio is playing very well for Belgium. So maybe bring him in because something needs to happen, you know, because if you go the same way like we did today, it's not going to happen. And the most important is to get to the next round so Romelu can get fit, can get minutes, and gets more time to be match fit because we need him. And especially Doku, when he's on fire, that's world class. And we have to get him on the right level as well.
Toby, you said something about Amadou Onana as it relates to it being a different stage. The World Cup is a different thing, and maybe it affects the players mentally in different ways. Can you just give us some insight into what that is as a player to step onto this stage and how it is different than, I mean, these guys play week in, week out in the Premier League. Amadou Onana won the Europa League. How is this different than what they've experienced?
Yeah, but this is different because, you know, the build-up to a World Cup is big. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone wants to be the main man. And I think the quality in 2018, what we had in our team, was like everyone knew their role. And especially, I'm going to talk about myself as well. I was not a big main man. I was a soldier, and you need to know this. And if the team know this, then you get the best out of it. So Onana, the best in his position when he's keeping things simple, when he's doing what he can do, and not like touching the ball too many times, want to play difficult passes and stuff like this. So again, everyone needs to know what their quality is and stick with the plan, and not want to be the big guy all the time.
Toby, it's great that you say that because I think watching that game as well, I used it as a reference to say for me that I felt that there's chemistry issues in this Belgium side. Would you feel that that's a fair comment to say after watching that performance that the chemistry just isn't right collectively as a team?
Yeah, that's not signals that I get because I hear from the Belgian squad that the bonding is very high. It's never been so good as now. The atmosphere is good. So yeah, the only thing is I think we didn't have the best qualification round. We won 2 games before against Croatia and against Tunisia. It gave us a feeling like, oh, we can do something special. But today it's like 2 feet back on the ground, easy, work hard, and things needs to change, and people need to get their level up to if we want to do something special this World Cup.
Toby, what would be a respectable expectation for Belgium from back home, the Belgian fans, and what they expect from this squad, how far to go in this World Cup?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. It depends. If you get place 1 in this group, you get the easier drawing after. But they say like if you get to the quarterfinal, everyone in Belgium will be happy. So I think about quarterfinal, something like this. And again, if everyone is on their level and maybe a little bit above, we can beat any country. But today showed as well, if you're not on the level and not going the tactical, not 100% right, you can lose against any team as well.
And if that was to fall short, would the manager be under pressure, Toby? Again, don't want to put managers under pressure while they're doing their job now, but it does feel like there's a lot of pressure around him, right?
Yeah. A lot of questions going to be asked now. Again, does in the next game Onana needs to stay? Even the fullbacks weren't that good. What are you going to do with Doku? He's going to play on the left or more in the middle. What are you going to do with Trossard? Because he's playing on the right. It's not his best position. So a lot of questions going to be asked. So I'm really looking forward to what he's going to say, and he's going to stick with the same team or going to change a lot.
Hey, Toby, finally as well, retired now. You look in good shape, huh? What's the secret? Spurs need you back.
The secret is keep going to the gym, you know, and sometimes watch what you eat. But I love to eat, my friend. So
hey,
sometimes
me and you both, me and you both.
At least you go to the gym, Toby. You need to take him under your wing. Take him with you.
Yeah, I will.
Toby, really appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining us and your reaction to this Belgium draw against Egypt.
Be safe, big man.
Thank you so much. Have a nice night.
Thank you. That is Toby Alderweireld with his thoughts on the Belgian national side's 1-1 draw against Egypt. More match day. It's coming up on the Golazo Network.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
I look crazy. It's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
The hero from the early game, of course, the incredible result, Cabo Verde getting a 0-0 draw against Spain, was the goalkeeper, Vozinha, 40 years of age. Now, on the Brazilian broadcast of this match, which was live on YouTube on Casa TV, the announcers, the commentators were saying, go follow this guy on Instagram. Let's turn him into the new Tim Payne. He goes from having 50,000 followers before this match kicks off to 2.5 million and counting. As a matter of fact, I got an email about this about 20 minutes ago that said he was at 2.2. He's added like 300,000 followers in just the last few minutes, and he continues to have the starring role of the day. Vozinha, he made some brilliant saves in the game as well.
Yeah, unreal. And the power of social media, right?
Yeah.
We're doing a similar thing with Nigel. We're trying to build his profile with the stuff that...
Where can people find you on Instagram, Nigel?
Nowhere. Don't find me. Just leave me alone. I'm happy where I'm at. Leave me alone.
But, I mean, for Cabo Verde, it was an absolutely brilliant game and a brilliant result for them as well. We actually wanted to talk even before. We didn't anticipate that happening. We want to talk about some of the biggest upsets in the history of World Cup. Of course, this being among them. It's not quite an upset in the same way because they didn't win the game, but in terms of shock results, this is right up there. You go back to 2022, Japan beating Germany. That at one point in that World Cup, they're about to knock Germany and Spain out of it. And then you had, of course, that great game between Saudi Arabia and Argentina in the very same World Cup. Costa Rica getting out of that group of death in 2014 with England, with Italy, and with Uruguay. And in 2002, South Korea beating Italy as one of the host nations. Senegal beating France in the group stage.
Huge. Yeah, it's one of those ones, again, you remember watching that game. That was the El Hadj Diouf game, if you remember.
Yeah. Jufi, what a character he is, by the way. Funny character.
And then in
I'll probably
98,
I'll say, for you, to use the right word, I'll probably say that the Ivory Coast result today is probably one of the great
Cabo Verde,
Cabo Verde, sorry.
I don't know how we ended up going to this 1951.
I was about to say they had to put the 1951 one in there.
Oh, that's Jed and Piazza in the back there.
England 0.
Oh, yeah, you
I love the
haven't been
sound
there
of
long
that.
enough. They bring that up all the time. Since I've been there, they bring that result up all the time.
How many times have we beat them?
England have never beaten USA.
Oh, okay, never.
England have never beaten USA in a World Cup, so they love to
At a World Cup, you've probably beaten them.
Yeah, because you're never there enough, that's why. So hopefully this one.
It's 1990 we missed once.
It'll have a good game.
So,
but you're normally out by the time we keep going, is the point I was getting
We've been drawn in the same group twice. Last year was a 0-0 draw. 2010, it was a 1-1 draw. Rob Green with a little spill.
Hey. Rob's one of our
colleagues.
Colleagues, so I'll be nice. I'll be nice.
Wow.
You saw Rob's fingers, right? That's why he threw it out. His fingers are all over the place.
Now who's having a go at our colleagues?
Me.
I would say the word shock is the best word to really associate with what we saw
today.
8:30 today. I think it's one of the shock results that not many people in the world would have bet that Spain would not be able to beat them. Talking about World Cup winners Spain, you talk about the difference between, you know, the countries and everything, but it's a lot of credit to Cape Verde today in the performance they put in there.
Before the game was shock. After watching the game, moment for moment, you're like, okay, I could piece that together as to why that happened. It wasn't wasn't Spain dominating and having loads of chances, and the keepers had an unbelievable day. Yes, he made 7 saves, but I thought all the saves were relatively comfortable.
Yeah,
there wasn't one where you
saves that you'd want at World Cup level.
You go, oh my God, how's he saved that? It was just good, solid goalkeeping, good, solid foundation, good work, and also as well, we'll talk about it as this like massive upset, and rightly so before the game. But they had chances to win it towards the end.
Yes, they did.
We could have been talking about this as a completely different game. And when you look at it at a reflection, Spain will be the ones relieved, going, oh, thank God we didn't lose that game. So for me, I think it's about giving Cape Verde all of the credit that they deserve.
100%. And then I think what we talk about it as well, you're looking at the, 67th ranked in world FIFA rankings against second and joint favourites to win this competition, to go into your first World Cup. And again, you talked a lot about emotions, what it's like, going into a World Cup, the pressure, and then to get a point today, and we'll talk about again some of these rankings of
disparities.
teams.
Yeah, so you're talking about the 65 place disparity between Spain and Cabo Verde, but this is actually the 5th biggest at this World Cup, the biggest being Brazil and Haiti, which you'll see later in the group stage. Haiti who performed very well against Scotland in their first game of the group, and then we'll see.
The Ghana game's got a bit more scary.
Yeah, England against Ghana, yeah. Are you guys worried about Ghana now?
I wasn't until I said this graphic.
But when you talk about sort of what is required to pull one of these off, because we saw, Curacao against Germany, and Curacao just couldn't get it done defensively. It has to be a flawlessly executed game plan, which all 11 players are committed to, and some good goalkeeping.
I was going to say, it is. You're right on that aspect. But again, to give a lot of credit to Cape Verde, it's the foundation that they've built. And what I can say a lot when you talk about some of these African countries, and obviously I played against some of the great African players to come through, and we have conversations off air. We talk about, African culture and the society and how it is there. They've laid a foundation there. From the money that they get from FIFA, they've built something to say, this is what we can do. So I think you've got to give credit for how long this project has been going, because they started to make waves in the African Cup of Nations, and they've just continued to progress, and I'm not surprised. Again, Morocco is another nation we talk a lot about. You look at them, the National Training Centre. They're doing really well now at youth level. It always starts from youth level. Youth level is where you go back to, you start building that foundation, you bring your best players through, you identify them, you start winning international tournaments, regional tournaments, and they make it through to the first team, and then you have a real big number and variety of players you can pick from. England did the same thing.
Yeah.
England went back to youth level to where we're at now, where we've got the likes of the Phil Fodens, the Morgan Rogers, and all these players, because they started winning at youth level, under 17s, 18s, all the way to 21s. Those nations there, like Cape Verde, they're doing it. Morocco's doing it. Senegal.
Spain did it. Germany did it.
Yes.
The only team that hasn't, and this is genuinely not a dig, the only team that hasn't done it over the last 15, 20 years has been Italy, because they've been stuck in flux of, do we go the old way or do we go the new way?
Don't trust in the youth and not having a real blueprint. So for me, like the African nations that are doing it, it's credit to them, because they are more well-known nations. They are not at this World Cup. The people will talk about, and the historians of football, you talk about the likes of Nigeria, you talk about Cameroon. They're not
in the qualifying group with Cabo Verde.
Yeah, exactly, and they're not in this World Cup. And for me, it's credit to Cape Verde and what they've done in the foundation that they laid in place to put them in this position.
And I was just going to say to your original question, and everything that Nigel today is fantastic, but for a game plan like that to work, you need all your players to be at 8, 9, some even 10 out of 10. And like you say, goalkeeper be solid, back 4 or 5, have a real good shape. But you also need the other team to be a 5, 6 or a 7. And I think when we look through SofaScore, and I don't normally agree with half of the stuff that they say, 3 players were above 7.5 for Spain. That was the left-back in Cucurella, Rodri and Pedri. If those players are having your best statistical games, that's good. That's a real good day. So I think, to answer your question, if you're like in England or any of the ones we just saw on that previous graphic, it's about application, respecting the opponent, because I don't think that all the teams have done that. I don't think Germany did after they scored the first goal against Curacao. I think they went, this is going to be 8 or 9, and who can score, because they was all shooting from everywhere. And then you get a wrap across the knuckles, and I think this could be great for Spain, that they got this wrap across the knuckles. It's like, OK, we need to take everyone seriously and we need to do our best foot forward, because they are favourites to win it. But as we have alluded to, Cape Verde did a fantastic game today. And fair play to not only the players, but the people you don't hear about the most, the manager,
well,
the coaches,
that's something that you should add more to it, because you've had experience to manage yourself. Because as much as what you've just said there, the players have to buy into the manager. Of course. And that performance there tells you that those Cape Verde players bought into the manager, the tactics and what he implemented, and believe that they should do to be able to get a result.
Yeah, and people think it's easy, right, to say, well, you're a smaller nation, it must be siege mentality. Everyone thinks we're a joke, we can do it. The messaging has to be right. Yeah. You have to deliver the training sessions properly. You have to be asking your players probably on let's say, a tenth of the budget of, let's say, a Spain, Cape Verde have got for hotels, for travel, for all of that. It's not going to be nowhere near what Spain have, but it's also going to be like, hey, we're trying to raise the standard here, not just for us, so we don't embarrass ourselves, but for the next generation, 20 years of people.
And you also have to imbue the players with a sense of belief that they can do it.
Exactly, but that all comes from getting every small detail right. And people who think you just turn up and you play. It's not like that. It's the training. It's where you're training. It's the meals. It's the type of hotel you're staying in. If you're on, and this is how players think now, if you're on Instagram and you're watching the likes of a Jude Bellingham, let's say, and you see the type of hotel that England are staying at, and they're in a 5-star, you're in a 3, to most people who travel, go, oh, that's okay, it's only a few nights. But when we're a team that's competing against them, we want to be in a 5-star as well. So even the smallest detail of what hotel you're in, you have to say to everybody, this is who we're trying to be, this is where we're trying to get to, and then with that comes pressure and expectation, and they've delivered so far.
It's like, well, I always say this, it's like when you get to the Premier League, right, you earn the right through promotion Championship. I would always say you have to get your mindset to say, I'm a Premier League player. If you go with that mindset to say, oh, I'm a Championship player, you're gonna struggle. That's the reality. You have to change your mindset and your thought process to say, act like you use the time, act like you've been there before. No,
absolutely.
I'm here because I deserve to be here. I'm thinking and acting like a Premier League
just on that, Rob, because obviously mentally you're very strong, and I think we connect because both of us are mentally stronger than most people, we would say, in our humble opinion, obviously. But other players, and I had this moment myself, you need a performance, you need a moment which makes you go, we belong.
Yeah.
All of the Cape Verde players would have had that today.
100%.
They're all leaving and say, wow, we played against Lamine Yamal, we played against Rodri, we played... Whatever position they want to look at, they get to go home tonight, be in the hotel, having recovery, going, hey, we deserve it. So not only the confidence is there now, the belief is coming up with it as well. So I just wondered whether you had that experience with anyone
100%.
you played with.
And I think as well, it goes to what you said about the manager and implementing everything, attention to detail. There's no reason now, with getting that performance of probably the best team in the group, that Cape Verde can't say, why can't we go and get a result? There should be no fear factor in that. And the manager, again, if he uses the messaging right, because the performance was good, really and truly, when you talk about the quality level that they're facing, they should be confident in their next group games to say, we can actually get a result. We can push for 3rd place or 2nd place and make it out of this group. And that's so important. What was it the valuation we saw on the graphic earlier?
65 mil. So over a billion.
65 to 1-point-something billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, you talk about, all the world-class players you're coming up against. You get a sense of, OK, we came up against the best and we did it. It's an incredible...
It's what we're doing here.
Exactly.
We haven't got the budget of other people, but the best is on here.
The best is on here. And on the subject of sort of widespread sort of gaps in between the world rankings between teams, there is certainly a gap between the United States and Australia. This is a game that's coming up on Friday. Our own colleague Mike Grella has been talking for months now about how this game is a layup for the United States. And some Australia fans caught up with Nico Cantor, who's out in Seattle, where that game will actually be played, talking about this very fact and the level of confidence that Australia have in their team.
Grella, with all due respect, you've got to figure out what you're talking about. When it comes to the Socceroos, it's not about who's on the field. Yes, we don't have all the names. We don't have Captain America. We don't have, Gio Reyna in midfield. We have heart. We have hard work. It's called working for your points. And when it comes down to the Socceroos, the minute you write us off, the backs are against the wall, it's over. You saw it against Turkey. Arda Güler sitting there in the change room, sitting there in the tunnel, turning around and saying, oh, we're better than them, go out and get your points. No, we were better than you. And when it comes to the USA, get out of here, man. 3 points. 3 points are coming back. We're making the finals. And you know what, USA? I don't even think you're getting the 3rd place finish. I personally don't.
What do you mean? With that scoreline, with a 3-0 scoreline, USA is top of the group right now.
Yeah, but when we're done with you, and then Turkey, release all their anger and their frustrations out on Paraguay, get themselves into form, you're going to finish on 3 points with a negative goal difference. And before you know it, you've tumbled your way out of the World Cup.
That's confidence right there from the Socceroos. I wish you guys all the best. It's going to be a hard-fought game, and may the U.S. win. Thank you.
Great stuff there from Nico. Mike Grella has become the bulletin board material of all of Australia. It's incredible.
But also, he's confident. He's not like these new kids that rage baiting and saying things just for clicks. He genuinely believes it. And we were sat here, and he was in the chair that you was in, and he was talking about how he's gone back, he's done the research, and he still can't see any reason as to why Australia win. Look, I think it's going to make for a great game, both teams winning with heavy score lines. Both teams will have a newfound confidence. And look, whichever way we dress it up, Grella's comments has rattled them, and rightly so. You should take it personal. You talk about my country. I want to take it personal. And I think the one thing that Grella does better than most people is, not only does he dish it out, he can take it if it is to go wrong. But it's going to be a great game.
He did back down when Mark Schultz stepped to him, though. That's one thing. Mike's my boy, but he backed down.
My boy
in
don't back
England,
down.
Mark Schultz stepped to him, but I love it. I can't wait for the game.
Now we're going to turn our attention to the next game here in the World Cup, and that is Uruguay beginning their campaign against Saudi Arabia in Miami. We'll talk about it with Gus Poyet, the former Uruguay international, next.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Let's get into this match between Saudi Arabia and Uruguay here on the Golazo Network. Saudi Arabia naming this team. These are largely all players that play for the same big clubs in Saudi as your Cristiano Ronaldos and your Mahrez and your incredible players that have gone over there. Now they have to kind of stand on their own 2 feet and perform on their own.
But this is why the Saudi League brought those players in, the likes of Ronaldo, the likes of all of the big stars, the Ivan Tonys, who they bought in for massive money, so that these players not only get to play against them and raise the level, but also get to see what the standard is expected to be like. Now, this is the first iteration of what this national team can be. Old school 4-4-2, which is very surprising for me to see at an international level. So you don't have to see without the ball, they're going to go to a 4-5-1. One of the strikers dropping down into that 10 position, trying to stop Uruguay playing out from the back. But this is, remember, all building up, not to this World Cup, not to the next World Cup, but to the home World Cup to 8 years from now. So you're going to have to see what they're doing now, build from that, have more players go out to the Saudi League, have more coaching, have more infrastructure, and they'll be ready for 2 years from now, 4 years from now, they want to see some progression.
And the only one player not in the Saudi League is Saud Abdelhamid, the right back, who actually had a very good season with Lens as they finished second in Ligue 1. Moving then to Uruguay. And for Marcelo Bielsa, another team that will also be lining up in a 442/4231. Federico Valverde will play in that midfield with Betancourt and Ugarte, probably the strongest part of the team, Nige.
Yeah, that core there, that midfield triangle is where this strength comes from, this Uruguay side. And we talk about Bielsa as well. High tempo, tries to play that man-for-man at times, as he liked to do at Leeds as well. So he's very demanding manager. They have the quality. Nunes has to start scoring goals and be really more clinical, Darwin Nunes. He can be a handful. Sometimes can cause a lot of chaos up top. As much as he does that, he's got to put the ball into the back of the net. That's his job. But for me, Federico Valverde, I'm a big fan of his, always been a big fan of him. He has to have a sensational World Cup for Uruguay to do well for me, because I think he is the key man.
And for more on Uruguay, let's bring in the former Uruguay international and coach at several stops across England and other countries, Gus Poyet. Gus, thank you so much for joining us. What have you made of the prep for the World Cup? Because it's been a while since Uruguay have won a game. They, of course, lost fairly handedly to the United States in their build-up to the World Cup as well. Are you feeling a measure of confidence about this team going into the tournament?
Well, hi. Thank you for having me. The situation with Uruguay is always the same. Before the World Cup, there is issues, there is problems, there is some doubts. As soon as the game starts and the ball starts rolling, that passion and that commitment of the Uruguayan players, they come into play. It is true that we lost a little bit of shape, and I know you like a couple of the players that they are not starting today. The best Uruguayan team was with De La Cruz behind Darwin Núñez. De La Cruz had an injury, and then he moved to Brazil, and he didn't play a lot. And Marcelo Bielsa tried to find that figure in Arrascaeta, who 3 weeks before the World Cup he got injured. Probably will be fit for the third game. So for the first time, Marcelo Bielsa in 3 years is playing with two strikers, main strikers. I don't know in which position, Federico Viñas, but it's the first time that he's trying something different to what we used to, Marcelo Bielsa.
Coach, just thinking about that midfield three there with the guys normally obviously apply themselves in the UK to Ugarte and Betancourt have not had great seasons themselves in terms of injury and performance. But Valverde is clearly, in my opinion, top 10 players in world football. You can play him anywhere, right, left. He's a joy. He's the coach's joy, isn't he? How big of a role is it for those three, especially that being your position you used to play? How big of a role are they going to play?
Yes, he's going to be probably the leader, naming the captain after Jimenez is not playing. There is some rumors. Let's see when the game starts, that maybe he play on the right side. And if you remember well, he had those 3 or 4 games consecutive against Man City, and the next 2 that he played on the right in Real Madrid with Alexander-Arnold, and he scored like 4 or 5 goals in a row. So maybe Marcelo Bielsa is trying, I'm just saying, maybe giving that freedom to be able to go forward. Because before, when he was playing in the middle, he was a little bit holding back because Betancourt was not fit. So he played in the middle with Ugarte. Now with Betancourt back in the team, I think Valverde is going to be the one that we used to be at Real Madrid.
Looking at Darwin Núñez, obviously he left Liverpool, a player I always enjoyed. I love a striker that can occupy the back line on his own. The only sticking point with that, coach, is that he hasn't got the cutting clinical edge which you'll need. How important is it for him to have a big World Cup when you look at the players that didn't make it?
Well, massive for many reasons, Troy. The main one is he made a very important decision, football career, going to Saudi. And then in January, his team signed Benzema, and he was not able to play for the last 6 months. So now he's coming to the World Cup for sure, with an incredible, willing to play. Now, is he fit enough to play 90 minutes? Difficult to know. If he's in great form, because football, when you lose football, when you don't play, probably no. But let's hope that passion and that willing to play and that opportunity for him to show the world how good of a striker he is, he brings something special. Because we recovered the goalkeeper, Muslera. He came back the last 3 months into the national team, after retiring practically. And now we need that number 9 that is going to score the goals. Well, Troy, what it means to score goals. So it's important that he performs well.
Gaffer, I agree with you so much on the De La Cruz and Arrascaeta impact of this Uruguay squad. Another player for me that I feel can have an impact in Pellistri. How much impact do you think he can have, obviously, coming on off the bench? I remember him coming from when he was young, left Peñarol, and obviously went to Man United, didn't really get too much games. Do you think he's going to be an important sub for this Uruguay side?
Yes, he has to be. You know, we are in Uruguay. We don't have that kind of pace player. We don't have. In our DNA, we are not quick players. I was probably one of the slowest players in the history of the Premier League, so I know what it means to be quick.
Don't worry, I'm just below you, coach. Don't worry.
So it's important for us, Pelistri, for that because it's very direct. It's pacey. It's not fast, but it's pacey, and it can bring that one-to-one. That I mean, if we go back to the games that we watched today, especially the Spanish game, Spain played the first half without that pace on the wings, without Iñaki Williams and Lamine Yamal, and it was difficult for them to create chances because you don't have that one-to-one situation. And that is going to be the difference maybe today. So if the game doesn't open up, Pelistri is going to finish playing for sure.
Gus, I wanted to ask you, because in the latter part of this past season, you spent some time in Saudi Arabia managing at Al Khalij. It's not a massive sample size that you have, but from your time there, what did you make of the Saudi project in football, and what do you make of this national team coming up against your home country?
Well, I think for the biggest teams, it's working. We're going to see it today. From the start of 11, 9 or 10, they're playing the biggest teams in Al-Nassr, in Al-Ali, in Al-Qassia. For those teams, those three local players that play week in, week out, and play also international games is very important. For the teams at the bottom, like Al-Khalij, where I was, for the local players, it's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. At the end, they are quite old. You don't have young players developing because as soon as they play a little bit, those big teams, they take it away because they need them. Mm-hmm. So it's a 50-50 chance. I think if this group of players under the new coach, they understand the way of Donis, that his game is nearly a 4-4-2. Normally, Donis play 4-4-2. Maybe one of the strikers will drop a little bit, but it's his preferred system. And they adapt it well because they only train for 3 or 4 weeks with him. So it's like a new coach, completely new. Then maybe they can surprise people. Salem Al-Daswari, left wing, outstanding player. Best player in Saudi by far. Have a look at him because he's very, very good, the captain. Kano in midfield, he's been playing all season with Al Hilal and under Inzaghi. Very important player in midfield for a big team like Al Hilal. So they got those kind of individuals. Can they make a team? I hope not, from Uruguay's point of view.
Gaffer, before we let you go, obviously Uruguay, historic nation in the world of football, small nation, but there's a lot of expectation when you put on a national team shirt. What's going to be respectable for this Uruguay side in this World Cup, in where they finish?
Oh, top question. No, normally I would say to you to win it, because that's how we normally, yes. But being realistic, I think that the last 8, if we can get in quarters or finals, it's going to be great. I think we need a little bit of that because it's too many things in the last year under Marcelo Bielsa and the players, too many bad issues, too many bad rumors. So we need a little bit of confidence, a little bit of happiness. So let's hope we can have a great World Cup.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question that might not be suited to happiness. For Bielsa, the way he plays, very high energy, very high paced. You're talking about the injuries that are picked up just before. How concerned are you with the style that Bielsa adopts and the training methods that these guys could be as fit as they need to be getting through this tournament?
Difficult, and I'll tell you 2 or 3 things. One, he had a big impact in his first 6 months, 6 months. Then he had a difficult year. Then he changed a little bit the players. There were a few bad situation with Luis Suarez and company. And now they had these last injuries. Also, let's hope no, in the last few games, he's not been changing. He's been playing with 11 players for 80-plus minutes. And that's, with the heat and with the quantity of games and the players that are not playing their teams, yes, we are a little bit worried. But I suppose, because he analyzed football to the end, that he knows that. So let's hope he can manage the squad better and have a great World Cup.
Gus Poyet with his thoughts on Uruguay ahead of their World Cup opener against Saudi Arabia in Miami. You mentioned the heat. 6 p.m. Miami, in June, it's going to be plenty warm. It's going to be a hot one in Miami tonight. And Uruguay hoping to get that result. Gus, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
See you soon, Coach.
And that is Gus Poyet with his thoughts on Uruguay. We'll also get our gambling expert Buckets' thoughts on this match coming up next.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon? When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready? Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars. What a difference she has made.
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Still much more coverage of the World Cup to come here on 48 Nations with Golazo Match Night, which will come your way in full after this Saudi Arabia-Uruguay match. And then the night will be closed with a scoreline from 11 p.m. after the close of business tonight. Iran and New Zealand, the final game of the evening. And then we're right back to work tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It is morning footy. They'll be having a preview of the World Cup matches for the day with some puppies, because why not? And then from 2 p.m., it is Golazo Matchday, and 5 p.m., the same after all the matches. We have you covered all day long throughout this group stage of the FIFA World Cup. Now, we showed you earlier the goalkeeper for Cabo Verde who had that brilliant performance, Vozinha, who is now all the way up to 2.9 million Instagram followers. So since we first updated you, he has added 400,000 Instagram followers. Now, let's get a little bit of a gambling preview ahead of Saudi Arabia and Uruguay with our man Buckets.
I've got two bets for this big matchup between Saudi Arabia and Uruguay, and this group was blown wide open by Cape Verde earlier. Spain originally to win the group were minus 2,000. Now they're minus 190. So this match that I thought was going to be cagey, I think it's going to be wide open now with both teams thinking they can get big points in this group. My first bet reflects that with both teams to score at plus 135. We're once again getting big plus numbers. This Uruguay team, I know they're tired with the travel. I know they're struggling right now, but they are good enough to score against pretty much much anyone in this competition, and I've got this gut feeling that Saudi Arabia, they're going to try to repeat their opening group stage match of the 2022 game against Argentina and make something big happen. I don't know if they're good enough to win, but I think they're good enough to score with the form they're in. So that's bet number 1. And bet number 2, I wanted to find something that was a little bit pro for our Saudi Arabia fans out there. I'm looking at something a bit bizarre here, but Salim Al-Dusari to have a single shot on target, over 0.5 shots on target right now, is almost even money. Minus 110 for him, not to score, not to assist, just put the ball on target. He had a great season with Al Hilal in the Saudi Pro League. He is the captain of the squad and has shown that he is capable of carrying this team when they need to. I think he's going to have a pretty good game today, but I don't need him to have a great game. I just need him to get that shot on target. Both teams to score at plus money. 1 shot on target for Dusari. Feeling pretty good about these two guys.
And that was the player that Gus Poyet actually mentioned as his player to watch for Saudi Arabia. Now we have a comment here from a viewer. Odds that Mike Grella goes worldwide using terminology from another sport. Plus 100. Grella is one of those figures who is all of a sudden becoming a lightning rod for conversation because of his comments on Australia. Is he going to talk about cricket or Aussie rules football maybe on Friday?
I mean, a lot of stuff comes out of his mouth that's very questionable, but we'll see.
That'll be a great one coming up later this week. But right now, it is Saudi Arabia taking on Uruguay, and that one is next. Our Golazo Match Night crew will have you covered with Stefano Fusaro, Michael Lahoud, and Jermaine Jones after the match. Stay with us on the Golazo Network.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries.